Did you tweet it out? I can retweet or whatever.
All right, welcome back to the Run.down Postgame show here on the Strickland YouTube channel. If you're listening to this the day after, Strickland Podcast Network. I'm Sam. I'm joined by Schwinn. Knicks win a unnecessarily close one, 116 to 114 versus the Atlanta Hawks. Before we get into that, though, the last of the major pro sports leagues kicks off this week, and BetOnline is your top spot for your NBA action this season with MLB postseason, which already passed, NFL and college football, and NHL in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. Get everything NBA at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access for every sport, anytime. Head to the BetOnline app today to get in on the action. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. So, Knicks win 116-114 versus the Hawks. No RJ Barrett once again dealing with a, I guess, severe migraine at this point. Just got to get that checked out.
I don't know anything about migraines. You have any migraine? Have you ever had a migraine? Do you get migraines or like you've had a migraine?
I've had a migraine before, but like it's been a while. But yeah.
Yeah, I've never had one. So people tell me they're awful, and I'm just like, I have no I have no basis to even understand how bad it could possibly be.
Yeah, it's like a very, very, it's like a very, very severe headache that's like, it's bad. But yeah, I guess like for him, I know they shouldn't, I don't know if they really last this long, but I guess it's really that bad for him that he can't play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we can start with one wearer of the Skechers sneakers. Schwinn, you talked about we haven't seen a game from him where, like he really got us going in the first quarter like he used to last year. Do you think this game showcased what we've kind of been missing this year from him in terms of that first quarter scoring?
Yeah. The best way I could put this game, I mean, yes, to answer your very specific point, yes, this was like the first tone-setting first quarter I think that he's had all season, really, in a positive way. But the best thing I can say about this game, and I mean this like very, very genuinely, I've talked all season about how like, hey, like if you're not gonna play good on defense, that's okay, but then you have to play like a star on offense. And today, I did not think he played well on defense. And I will tell you one thing, I am not going to mention that at all because he played like a fucking star today on offense. Not just the first quarter was great because he was scoring at a high clip, had a little bit of a lull in the middle two quarters. And I do think that's still like definitely still getting his legs underneath him. But I got to say, I'm stunned to be saying this. So everybody, what does Bill Simmons say? Nephew Kyle, get the TikTok camera out. Like, I thought Wally made a really good point during the broadcast.
Wally Dub.
Yeah, rare Wally Dub. He brought up that dunk that he had, or that finish that he had on Okongwu underneath the hoop. He started flexing afterwards a little bit, was feeling himself. And he talked about how, like, those are the kind of finishes you need to have when you're coming back from an ankle issue and you're kind of like maybe not fully confident in it yet. I thought that play and the one right before that where like quickly fed him cutting down the lane, he just dunked it. I thought those were really, really big for him. It felt like he got really like a lot of confidence from that. And all I will say about the fourth quarter is I don't even know how many he scored. He had that 1-3, and I don't know if I think he had a layup after that. I don't think it doesn't matter to me. I thought he played great in the fourth quarter. He was super unselfish. He made good reads. He did not hold on to the ball for way too long when help came. I don't think he forced. I think he took like that one weird fading jumper, but I didn't even hate that shot. Like I thought that was a fine shot for him to take in that moment. I thought he played a really good game. So kudos to Julius. I did a little show with Ace DJ over on Knicks Film School before the game, and I mentioned that I thought, say whatever you want about the rest of the team, but Brunson and Randle had not played like stars yet this year. Like they had not really done it. And I thought tonight Julius absolutely did. And Brunson, I don't know what the hell was going on with him for like from the end of the first quarter until the Knicks went down 8 in the fourth quarter. But after that, he was just like, I'm never going to miss a shot again, by the way. He was great. He was great down the stretch. And this was a really big win for them in the sense of like, they were, I mean, I think if you took a poll of Knicks fans, how confident were you at when they were down 101-94, the way they had started that fourth quarter? I would have said like, I don't know. What do you think? Like 97% of fans would have assumed we'd lost the game. I thought they showed a lot of character. I thought they showed a lot of heart. And like all of them really, really like, I thought this was a really competitive victory. And I know like there are people that are upset, like, oh, they're in the second end of a back-to-back. Like, okay, you were down RJ Barrett. You also went down Quentin Grimes on the stretch of the game. That ironically, I don't mean this at all as a knock on Grimes. So I actually think he played a pretty good game aside from, is he the worst dribbling two guard in the NBA? Maybe. But like, I think they maybe benefited from that because I don't know if Quickly closes the game if Grimes healthy, and they needed Quickly. And I think you saw, like, I think it says a lot about whatever you want to say about Tibbs. This idea that he doesn't trust or doesn't love and doesn't care about Emmanuel Quickly is ridiculous. Like, if you need any more proof of that, watch every possession they ran down the stretch in the fourth quarter today. The first play coming out of a timeout after they fell down 7 was a design set for Quickly to get an open 3 at the top of the key. The rest of the quarter, everything they initiated involved throwing the ball to Julius and him and Quickly on the same side of the floor running 2-man action. That was the entire game. So if you don't, again, Tibbs is weird. Don't tell me Tibbs doesn't love Emmanuel Quickly, doesn't value him. He clearly does. But forgetting that, like, I do think both Randle, awesome. Brunson, I don't know about awesome, but he stepped up kind of in a moment. Yeah, when he needed to. And honestly, in a moment where it felt like he was done for this game. Like, it just felt like he was putting way too much pressure on himself. And honestly, to some extent, like, that is the luxury you have when you have a player like Emmanuel Quickly where, okay, Brunson's struggling. Let's put him off the ball for a second. And let's have Quickly run this 2-man game with Julius. That's a luxury you have with guys like Quickly, and obviously Brunson or RJ wasn't healthy, but you have that luxury with RJ Barrett now too. And the Knicks have a lot of weapons, and they needed them tonight. And also, gotta say again, huge fucking just absolute Sam Cassell levels of big ball dancing performance from Mitchell Robinson tonight.
Oh,
awesome
that hustle play, getting that ball, kicking
that
it to
play was
hard.
awesome. He made Clint Capella look like a fucking child today. That was incredible. Mitchell Robinson.
He's basically invisible.
Kudos, Mitchell Robinson. Amazing performance from him. An amazing start to the season.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to my point, especially with Mitchell Robinson, like how he has completely, absolutely dominated. It seems almost every center matchup this year. And like this was a concern in previous years of, you know, are there certain matchups that are going to give him trouble? So far this year, there hasn't really been any. Like even with the Porzingis matchup, like the first one, it was whatever, but like that last one was pretty okay. But for the most part, most centers that have given him problems in the past, he's been pretty good with. So that's very encouraging. Oh, there we go. Forgot to format it. Thanks. But yeah,
sent me a reminder.
Of course he did. But yeah, I mean, this game also, while it was great to see Julius get back, you know, to his all-star, all-NBA form-ish, this game still does show a little bit of, you know, why we miss having RJ Barrett in these games. Is it now both games versus Atlanta that he didn't play in them?
No, Barrett played in the first game.
He did.
Yeah.
That was one of his best games of the year. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this game really showed. It's so weird how we end up in these like weird shootouts with the Hawks. Their wings always cook us. Like it's very odd.
I don't know what. I just gotta say, like, for a team that's been so good defensively this year,
for the Hawks to be your kind of kryptonite is weird.
It's not just that they were so sloppy, and they have been. And this goes back to last year, and this is something that Miami killed us in during that playoff series. We are so sloppy matching up after made baskets or on any type of push the other way. Like we're so sloppy about it. How many points did Bogdanovich score just because we did not match up on him coming out like after we scored or didn't score? It didn't matter. Like there was one, I forgot who it was. We maybe scored a layup or something, and then he just got a wide open corner three. I think it was DiVincenzo that didn't get back, and it was just like I there's like nobody else you gotta worry about. But also like again, I said I will not criticize him, so I will not. I will just say that Sadiq Bey did get his game off during the second quarter, unfortunately.
Bro, I mean, Jeff brought it up last time. It's very smart for teams to, have involved this individual that you will not name in actions off ball to make him, because they know that he's going to leave guys open to shoot. But yeah, it's kind of, it's so funny. Like I just want to see how many games off ball shooters are just going to have great games because this guy consistently loses this guy.
But yeah, I mean, look, I thought, and you know what? Like, I will say, everybody tonight contributed in some way. It was not a perfect performance, right? It was not.
Yeah.
Like, we just talked about a bunch of things that they fucked up, right? But like, you look up and down this box score, every single player on this team contributed tonight.
Josh Hart has moments,
except for maybe Deuce McBride, but that doesn't count. He got 1 minute. That's not,
which to my thing is like, did Thibs just not trust him, or like does he just not respect the Hawks?
I don't know.
Just
what
like, hey, Deuce, get some run versus the Hawks for a little bit. And he's like, versus the Celtics, no way.
That was just really weird. I don't know what that was about. If I was Deuce, I would have been pissed if I was Deuce, because I'd been like, bro, I gotta fucking shower now after this shit. Like, really? Fucking waste my time with this shit. No, I thought, like, you look up and down this box score again. Julius, obviously 29, 10 and 8, monster performance down the stretch. Only one turnover tonight too. One of his most under control performance of the season, if not the most. Mitchell Robinson, don't even need to say the numbers. It was obvious, but 6 points, 15 rebounds, 6 offensive, 3 steals, 1 block. Steal machine, Mitchell Robinson. Jalen Brunson, 24 points, 8 assists. Obviously, 6 of 10 from 3. He shot 6 of 10 from 3, and he was 2 of 9 from inside the arc. I don't know what's going on with him from 2 this year. I'm happy the 3-point shot is cooking, but at some point, I'm going to need this guy to like remember how to make layups and mid-range jumpers again.
Man, the amount of layups we missed tonight, man, that was just insane.
Yeah, quickly smoked one too. Josh Hart.
It's the DiVincenzo disease.
Yeah,
which, funny enough, he had great finishes tonight.
Yeah, he did. He had a couple. Josh Hart, 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. I still am I'm doing a lot of no, yes with him. But he looks a lot better. I thought he started the game today really well. I didn't even give a shit that he bricked that first shot because he didn't hesitate on a corner 3. But I just thought he kind of set the tone early, got the Knicks off to a good start. Really liked his game. Quentin Grimes, 11 points, 3 of 7 from 3. Hartenstein, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, like 17 minutes.
One nice shove of Trae Young after the whistle.
Yes. Beautiful shove of Trae Young. Dante DiVincenzo, 6 points. I'm waiting for this guy to get the 3-ball going because I know it's going to happen at some point. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Honestly, he had 4 turnovers. 2 of those weren't inbounds. Just take him off inbounds. It's clearly not his thing. Manuel quickly, 20 points on 11 shots, 4 assists, 1 steal. Like, I just thought you got contributions everywhere. Not us, like, I mean, even Randle, right? Like, but nobody played a perfect game. So they needed everybody, and they got something from everybody, and that is why they came out on top. Yeah, they just played a really effective game, and was it perfect? Absolutely not. Are you maybe lucky a little bit that the Hawks caught them on the second night of a back-to-back? Sure. They also did get like Trae Young, who didn't play yesterday, fresh, whatever. I don't really care about the back-to-back thing because it's not like anybody has sympathy for us with all our fucking backs-to-back, so fuck them. I just think, like, look, Vegas had them as a 1.5 point favorite. The Hawks, this was always going to be a close game. You're on the road. Atlanta's kind of started the year off pretty nicely. So to get this one is really good. And yeah, I mean, look, I think the Knicks are now 3-3 away from home. They continue to be a solid road team now for the 3rd year in a row. What looks like it'll be the 3rd year in a row. So yeah, just, honestly, hats off to the entire team. I thought they played really well. And I thought Tibbs, I liked his rotations today. I thought this was a lot better than what we saw in the Celtics game. I thought
no 42 minutes of Josh Hart.
Yeah, and I just thought he was creative. Like, I thought I liked kind of how he used Quickly, how he used DiVincenzo, how he used these guys coming off the bench, specifically those two. I just thought he did a really good job of kind of blending them in at different points, mixing up Josh Hart, Grimes with those two guys. It was just a really good coaching performance from him. And I think he deserves a lot of credit considering how much we shit on him when he gets things wrong.
Do we think that because like do we think it's because of the opponent that like he does things a certain way? Like because like versus the Celtics, he obviously coached that game. Like he had Josh Hart playing all these minutes. He was super concerned, I guess, with the matchup of the wings or whatever it was.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I do think some of it's like the Hawks don't have physical wings, right? Like DeAndre Hunter is about as physical as I am. Bogdanovich is just
like they have guys that will just light you up.
Yeah, he's a really good shooter, right? But he's not gonna like body you down low, right? Sadiq Bey, hits the gym for no reason. Like they just don't have guys that are gonna beat you up down low. Even Jalen Johnson, who I like, he plays with force, but he's not somebody you're gonna like throw the ball to and he's gonna back you down, right? Like it's not like a Julius situation with him. So I think for that reason, like it was easier for him to like play smaller lineups and I'm gonna close with Quickly here, right? Like I think he was able to kind of do those things and get to that conclusion a little bit earlier. I will say though, like there's something to be said of you don't always need to consider how you will match up with your opponent. You can also consider how they will need to match up with you. And that's not to say like, oh, if you had played Quickly against Boston, or we would have won the game. Quickly shot like shit in that game. He was 1 of 10, right? Like we probably wouldn't win that game anyway. I just think it's something that to consider for him more often because I feel like he's often very, very focused on how do we match up defensively with this team and
reactive as opposed to being proactive.
Yeah. And I just think like, I don't know if tonight, like even if this was another case of him being reactive, I feel like in general, I just think his decision making as a coach this year, like has been a lot better. And tonight was another game where I thought he coached a really good game.
I will bring this up because Tyrese made fun of me for losing this bet. But yeah, shout out to Julius Randle. He had a good game, but didn't get that 1 point that I needed.
You needed a 30 ball from him?
Yeah, I with FanDuel they have live same game parlays, so you can take guys' points live during the game as they're watching the game.
FanDuel, not interesting. Interesting. Not my sports book.
I use multiple sports books, by the way. Probably too many at this point.
Have you got on the ESPN one yet? With the
yes.
Did you use the free bets they gave you?
Yes.
I'm guessing you didn't win because I don't know what the hell you got. Yet.
No, I did not.
Julius, I'm surprised you didn't bet the under. So I guess.
Nah, I noticed the streak that he's been on. I know Atlanta's a good matchup for him. They don't really have anybody that guards him pretty well, so I was pretty confident. Especially watching the game, I saw that he was on his way for. He was on pace for it. But if he got like one more free throw, he would have got it. Funny enough, whose unders was I about to talk about?
This is from Nafi Malhuda. Best win of the year. No RJ and ATL is a playoff high-end playing team. Yeah, I think Atlanta, like, I know that we like to just shit on Atlanta because that's a big part of what we do here. But I've been like kind of bullish on them prior to the season. I like what I've seen from them outside of those first 2 games, which were just weird. I don't know what that was about. But like I think they're going to be the 6th seed. I think they're really talented offensively. I think, like, look, it's fun. We can make fun of Trae Young all we want. And I know he didn't shoot the ball well last year. I just have a hard time believing he's going to shoot this poorly from the field the entire year. Like, I'd be surprised. And
I would welcome it.
Yeah, I would be happy about it. Especially, well, as long as they get 43 wins, I'll be happy about it. But like, I think DeJounte's played a lot better this year. I don't know what the hell was going on with them today. It was just like, but credit to the Knicks for their good defense on them, and I guess maybe that's why a lot of these other guys were killing us. We were really focused on shutting those 2 down. But like, DeJounte's played really well this year. I don't know. I just feel pretty good about their team. Like, I think, Jalen Johnson, we talked about him. He looked really good tonight. I'm kind of surprised he didn't play more. How many minutes did he even get? Was he even on the floor down the stretch? That's weird. I
No,
guess he played.
I think they took him off the court.
Yeah, I guess he played 31 minutes. I mean, that starting group though is not something is. Can we be real? DeAndre Hunter sucks. DeAndre Hunter's terrible, and they should probably start Bogdanovich over him.
But the funny thing is, DeAndre Hunter has had like 4 straight 20 balls versus us. Like he constantly kills us.
Yeah, I think him and RJ have a little thing, right? Because they're in the same draft. So
Yeah,
they get like motivated to play each other. Which is like, maybe they should tell him that he's playing RJ every game. He might show up every now and then. Trae Young had 17 assists today. I don't remember like any of these.
I don't either.
I remember. I remember like he had one really nice pass to Capella on the lob or Okongwu, whatever, it doesn't matter. One of their centers on the lob, and that is the only one I remember. That's it. Like I don't know how he got 17 assists. I feel like this is a elaborate troll or something. That's the most fake 17 assist game I think I've ever seen in my life. By the way,
that
Knicks,
like Atlanta's stat correction, like
I don't know.
Are they gassing up the assist for him?
Like the Jaren Jackson Jr. thing.
Yeah.
By the way, Knicks 29 assists tonight. Like that, and this is the first time I think the starters really got the ball moving well. 8 assists from Randle, 8 assists from Brunson, 5 from Josh Hart. I just think that like that was a really good sign. They had 22 assists as a group. Quentin Grimes chipping in one. One thing is it just me or was Hartenstein like feeling himself a little too much today with some of his finishes around the rim? He tried like a right-handed jump hook at one point. I was like, all right.
He's definitely been trying some shit early in the year.
I don't. This guy, I'm not even gonna read this comment. This dude just like hates Emmanuel quickly. He's like,
I see the comment.
Yeah, I don't know what you. Like, why would you switch against Trae Young? I don't know. Probably because like that's a very normal thing to do at the end of games. Yeah, you're right, dude. Trae Young, awesome game. Whatever you want, have at it, buddy. All right.
Wait, what? Wait, I gotta check Trae Young's box score because
Trae Young cooking tonight. All of his 15 points on 12 shots.
Oh man,
9 free throws. Yeah. So I don't know. This guy, like, we just won a game and just wanted to come in a game. By the way, quickly had 10 points in the fourth quarter. But yeah, let's come in here and start cooking his defense. What a fucking weirdo. Get a life, dude. All right, moving on.
Oh my god.
The Bulls. I thought the Bulls were down 17 at one point. Wasn't it 53-3? No, they lost by 2. So Orlando nearly blew it. Anyway,
Exactly. He's going to be on his way out. Hopefully, he won't be here though.
Yeah, but look, they just played really, really well together, and again, nobody was perfect. Like Quickly wasn't perfect. He committed 2 really stupid fouls. Julius Randle, not perfect, right? Like Brunson, not perfect. Honestly, the only guy I think you could say like played a perfect game would be Mitchell Robinson. Honestly, I mean that.
Almost every game he plays is perfect at this point.
Yeah, he's just playing at such a high level, and this, I mean this is not an insult on Hartenstein, but last year there was a lot of like, wow, it's so nice having like 2 really, really good fucking centers, 48 minutes. This is great. This year I'm watching it and I'm like, Hartenstein's good, man, but you can feel the difference when Mitch is out there right now versus Hartenstein. And that is not a knock on Hartenstein. That is just a total compliment to Mitchell Robinson playing at an insanely high level. Just, I don't know. If you were giving out an MVP for the Knicks right now, I don't even think it's close. It's him. RJ's obviously, maybe if he comes back and plays the way he has been, he would be in that conversation, but he's played 11 games. RJ missed 4. Mitch hasn't. Like, you just go with that. But yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about him. The level he's playing at is unreal. Some of the reads he's making in the passing lanes and pick and rolls are just so tremendous. Not fouling. I mean, the rebounds he was getting today against Capella were crazy. That block he had in Capella at the start of the game was so disrespectful. That shit was like, he was like,
how dare you even try to like attempt a shot in the paint right now?
That was wild.
And it's insane that like I'm seeing like these posts every day about like, oh, Victor's like second in the odds for DPOY. It's like this shit is like basically like either it's not even a shot blocking competition anymore because like Mitch is blocking shots like crazy. He's getting stocks like crazy. So it's like a popularity contest at this point. Because like I don't understand how Mitch is not like top 3 in people's minds for DPOY right now. Like he's absolutely anchoring what a top 3 defense in the league. And just absolutely dominating the glass. Like, I don't know. Jaren Jackson Jr. and Marcus Smart, those DPOYs looking a little fraudulent over there in Memphis as they can barely scrap together some wins.
Just the 2 dumbest defensive player of the years in a long time. That's the last 2 years, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. What a joke. Mitch, look, I know Gobert's having a hell of a season right now for the Timberwolves, and
they're top defensively as well.
Yeah, they're the number 1 defense league, but I don't watch the Timberwolves every game, surprisingly enough, and I do watch the Knicks every game. And for me, Mitchell Robinson.
I don't want to watch the Timberwolves last night.
Yeah,
there's some action in that game.
That was funny, and I got to say, this Rudy Gobert redemption arc is pretty awesome. Kind of enjoying it. He like how washed is Draymond as a troll when Rudy Gobert is fucking roasting you now? Like, that's crazy.
And it's like it's turned into it was a Twitter joke at first about like how he doesn't want to play in games without Steph, and like now even his peers are talking about it, which is insane.
Yeah, that was he like really went after Draymond, and the crazy thing is none of it was wrong.
It was like all factual, like based.
Yeah, he was great. But this is from Constantine Metricos. Mitch Rob might have more offensive rebounds than every other individual team at the end of the season. Wild, but potentially true stat if he keeps his pace up. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are there more skilled centers than Mitchell Robinson? For sure. Are there guys that are more well-rounded? Are there guys that don't have as many holes in their game? Sure.
The impact that he has on our team single-handedly.
I mean, he's just
unmatched.
Again, Ariel Pacheco tweeted this earlier this season, and it's absolutely true. Everything that Mitchell Robinson does well, he is absolutely elite at. He is absolutely elite at. He is an elite rim protector. He is an elite defensive rebounder. He's an elite offensive rebounder. He is an elite putback guy. He is elite at being bad at free throws. Like, he is elite at everything that he does well. But no, he's.
This is like what you kind of imagined his peak looking like when he first entered the league, when he was like super raw. You were kind of thinking of like this guy, if he reaches his utmost potential, this is what he'll look like. But yeah, I mean, like what you're saying, like yeah, there are tons of centers around the league that are good at this and that and this, and like he's elite at everything, and like he's elite at everything that he's like really good at. It's like it's why his impact on this team single-handedly is
yeah, no, it's
his impact single-handedly on this team is remarkable.
I mean, it's also crazy because Hartenstein's a damn good center backing him up, and you can feel that difference now. Whereas last year, Mitch was really good last year, and I think we all kind of by the end of the season were like, holy shit, like maybe like I had doubts about him coming into the season after his previous, like I didn't think he was that great in 2021, 22. I had questions coming in, but by the end of last year, I think we were all like, holy shit, this guy's really good. And
especially in the playoffs after he sunned the Twin Towers of Cleveland.
The Twin Towers, don't do that. They're like the twin tenements. The twin dorm room, the twin dormitories. But like he's taken his game now to another level, and like there was that stat, right? I think the Knicks have the fewest blocks in the league or something. That's fine. And I do think some of that is probably because teams aren't even challenging us as much at the rim. But the amount of steals he's getting now is crazy. Like I feel like he gets
like with 3 tonight.
Yeah, he had 3 tonight. I feel like he's getting at least 1 every game, if not more.
It was like I think to start the season, he had like 4 straight games or something of getting like 2 or something.
Yeah. He's look. I don't know what else to say, but like considering what he was in terms of being a project coming into the league, and we all had the vision of what he was. It was pretty easy to see, like, okay, well, if he is going to be really good, this is the path for him, and it was easy to see that path. But it was also like, are we sure that the Steve Mills, Scott Perry led Knicks, coached by David Fizdale,
It's going to be
will
the
not,
best situation to
yeah.
breed that.
Are we sure that we are the team to get the most out of this? And for him to kind of like develop the way he has with this team, and it's almost fun. It's funny, right? He's like developed his development almost like mirrors the Knicks progression as an organization through his time. And it's just really cool, kind of like how he's playing right now and the level he's at. And I remember during the offseason there was that random report that was like Mitchell Robinson's value would be 2 first-round picks or something like that. And I remember there were people like, who would do that? Yeah, and people were like, who would do that? And I'm like, well, let me tell you something. Fucking Atlanta might do it after tonight. A lot of teams would be doing it after they play Mitchell Robinson this year. That guy is playing.
Cleveland would do it.
Yeah, he's the fact that he wasn't on top 100 list this year is fucking ludicrous to begin with.
The fact that he wasn't on top center list this offseason was insane.
It was, it was awesome. It was really, he was great.
Yeah. Hold up. I'm just sending this link to Jeff. Jeff will be joining us shortly.
Since I clowned him, I'm going to read this comment out. This is from Knicks 100 AGM. But Mitch has been borderline amazing. They should name Mitch team captain right now. Name him fucking, captain of the city, as far as I'm concerned. Defender of the city. He's basically, we can put out like a fucking
Batman.
Yeah, we'll put out a hologram light, but it'll be like, I don't know, like a Mack truck or something that he's into. Pickup truck. It's just like, that's my signal.
What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This is pretty interesting. Also from Knicks 8100 AGM. I think I Heart Gone. He's responding to Constantine, who said I would pay Hartenstein 3 years, 42 million or so deal right now without hesitation. Yeah, I would too. I would definitely pay Hartenstein 3 years, 42 million. And I gotta say, like, if you want to take like long-term, broad picture stuff, it would behoove the Knicks, if they are to make a big trade, before the start of the new calendar year. Because if they do that, they can go over the cap to keep guys like Emmanuel Quickley and Hartenstein and have their depth and have their team in place and not have to worry about, how are we going to acquire a star, even if we're over the second apron and blah, blah, blah. So if the Knicks are going to make a big move, that'd be the time to do it. But we don't want to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about how the Knicks shit on a Chia Pet, better known as Trae Young.
I like the way that we've defended him. I mean, I know he's been struggling to start the year, Trae Young, but like I just overall like the way that we defend him in terms of the pick and roll. I know he got like 17 assists, which we both realized were probably the fakest 17 assists tonight ever. But I just like the way that we guard him. I like the way that we guard the pick and roll with him. And he wasn't able to get his game off. Like, their leading scorer tonight was Bogdan Bogdanovic, and their second leading scorer was, I want to say, either Sadiq Bey or whoever else, or Jalen Johnson. Like, it was one of those wings. Like, it was just their wings. Like they said,
calling him Sadiq now. It's very nice of you.
Do not.
He has a very colorful nickname for
I know
Sadiq
this isn't,
Bey.
I know this isn't the Hawks post game. There was a huge difference between what Jalen Johnson did and what Bogdan Bogdanovic did. Like 80% of the shots Bogdan shot, I guarantee you Tibbs will be like, all right, like on to the next one. Like, it's cool that he just randomly decides to go off against us every time he plays, but the Knicks won that game on shot quality by I'll just say I'll be very interested to see the shot quality, because that wasn't as close as that game ended up being. The Hawks hit a bunch of nonsense, but my original point wasn't to trash the Hawks. It was to say I thought Jalen Johnson played an excellent game. Probably,
I think Jalen Johnson's really good. And we're not going to do this tonight, but let's just say Jalen Johnson would be somebody I would be interested in. Just a guy you keep an eye on and see if he's ever available, because I think he's a really dynamic player. And I think he moves well enough. He could probably play the 3. If that 3 ball is really good, probably play the 3. I think he's a really, really dynamic player. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Rui Hachimura getting to LA and kind of being able to play in these weird lineups. not to say they're not the exact same player. I think Jalen Johnson's way more talented. He's way more explosive athletically. And Rui's no slouch, but I think Johnson's just on another level. As far as Bogdanovich is concerned, I don't think he'd be upset about any of the half-court stuff he was doing. I think he might have fucking blown a gasket over the 5 times when it was like, oh shit, guys, you forgot to defend Bogdanovich again in transition for no reason. Those probably drove him insane. But I agree. I thought their shot quality at various points wasn't that great. They were super hot from 3. And then the one thing though, I will say, again, promise not to say anything mean about him, so I won't. Somebody let Saddiq Bey dribble into his comfort spots and get into a rhythm in the second quarter. And while I agree with you, the shot quality of those wasn't necessarily great. I do think it's like when you can't field the defender, it's a lot easier to make a contested jumper versus some of the shit that Bogdanovich was hitting. You were just like, oh, okay, cool. You're going to hit a fucking 3 6 feet behind the arc with Grimes in your grill. So be it.
What you're basically trying to say is that the Trae Young, DeJounte Murray 15-footers with Grimes or DiVincenzo or Quickly with their hand an inch away from the ball isn't the same thing as Saddiq Bey hitting a pull-up where Julius Randle doesn't even put his hand up.
Yeah, we are not saying mean things about Julius today, Jeff, because offensively he played a really nice game.
There was okay. We're not saying
save it for your fucking 70 clip thread tomorrow that you do.
Nah, that's Knicks tape tomorrow. That's he's on that one. So if I'm gonna get anything off, I wouldn't. I literally was just gonna say there was when the Hawks went up 91-84, which was the low point in the game for the Knicks. There was just a back-to-back sequence where I was like, "Oh, Julius just gave up." He's decided that we're not going to win this game.
I know exactly. It was 101-94, by the way. But I know it was that transition play where he just stood in the paint, even though Quickly was there, and then
he Quickly had to guard Bey.
Well, then he guarded Bey, even though Randle was there because Randle decided, to your point, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm good," and then. He got Bey to pick up his dribble, so then Bey had to pass it to Bogdanovich, and Julius just stood there again. So then Quickly had to run around him to go contest the shot. And then Julius again just stood there as the shot goes up and just watches Jalen Johnson go get the rebound and put it back in. And I was just like, I agree with you. At that point, I was like, oh shit, I think they think it's over. And for them to respond the way they did, one, I think it's kind of funny thinking back at around the same time last year, where after every game or every loss, you were like, I don't know, man. Are they still playing for Tibbs? Are they still, and now you see the response of this team in this game. That would have been an easy moment to just be like, all right, tonight's not our night, is what it is. But yeah, they played for each other. They played together. I thought, again, we talked about this earlier, but I thought it was really interesting that Tibbs kind of decided, hey, Brunson, and it was a good tactical move by him. They were trapping all that Brunson high pick and roll shit, so they were milking way too much clock before they got anything going, which is why their offense stalled out. So what he did is he had Randle get the ball on the elbow, kind of extended, and then him and Quickly just ran 2-man game down the stretch. And the first play out of that timeout was that 3 for Quickly, and then actually again. The next play down, so it's 101-97. You can see Randle Quickly's in the opposite corner,
and he calls him to come over.
Yeah, well, Julius he always does this in the most demonstrative, angry ways possible, and he does this thing where he's he's come on, shakes his entire head at you. It was just really obnoxious. But he dimed him up kind of right. He threw a behind the back pass. I was like, who are you? Are you LeBron now? Is this what happens?
It really does go to show, though, just how much variance there is in single games. Yeah. Just because everybody remembers the Mavericks loss from last year, and they remember the whole collapse. But what nobody frames it Christian Wood hits that first 3 down 9 when the Mavericks were basically giving up. It was one of the most ridiculous threes I've ever seen in my life. And if that just doesn't go in, the Mavs don't even bother with the rest of the stuff. They just give up, and the Knicks. And so I don't think it was. Quickly got a really good look, but I feel pretty strongly that if Quickly misses that 3 at 101-94, this goes another way. From an effort standpoint and just from a lot of different things.
No, that felt a gotta have it shot. Not a
Yeah.
gotta have it, like a gotta have it shot. They needed to see that go in. And I think obviously it did, and then the rest is history. The Knicks went on to win the
But-
NBA championship.
By the way, Schwinn, since you make fun of me for it, pretty much every other post game, we're gonna ignore that this happened because of injury. But the Knicks are now 1-0 when Emmanuel quickly plays multiple shifts and a half. So just a stat to track.
Well, we talked about that. It wasn't just quickly though. I thought Tibbs did a really good job of like being creative with his subs today. Like not like he mixed it up. I like. I mean, I actually wish that he had played Deuce more today, more than the 1 minute he got. But like, I thought it was. It was. I liked he subbed Brunson out, right, and then he brought him back in, and then he subbed him out again, and then brought him back in. Like he did that in the first half, and that was really cool. He did that with Randle too. So it was just really, like, I don't know what's going on with Tibbs this year. It's really disconcerting how many decisions he's making that I find myself being like, it's a good choice. I like what I'm seeing here. Like he's doing a lot of it, and I find myself now on like
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, maybe, but I find this on, I find myself on like every podcast and live streaming, like, hey, guys, like it's fine to make fun of Tibbs, but you got to give him some credit here, okay? Like he's doing a really good job. So I am now morphing into Berman, basically, except not fat and bald and a jackass. But
Jesus.
So yeah, I got to say, I just think this is it's just a really good game from like everybody in the team contributed. Players, the coach, like everybody contributed. Everybody had their hand in the Knicks winning this game. They don't win this game without any, like they needed all these guys tonight, and all these guys showed up.
And to beat a fully healthy team, a good team. I don't know where you guys were on them in the preseason. But like I said in the preseason, it wouldn't surprise me if they actually did better than the play-in and were just a top 6 seed. Like I think
getting rid of John Collins is a lot for a basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually been kind of good in Utah this year, but that's probably more Will Hardy than anything.
Danny Ainge and their
exactly
magic over there.
Yep. To beat a good Atlanta team that's pretty much that is fully healthy, had their whole rotation, and in my opinion, like it's in Atlanta. They shot 26 free throws to the Knicks 11. I think they got the benefit of shot quality luck pretty strongly, even though the Knicks outshot them by a bit from 3. I thought the Knicks just created good look after good look and just wide open looks and just didn't cash them in at the rate they should. And to overcome all that, overcome a 7-point lead, and without RJ Barrett, without Quentin Grimes late in the game, it's a really impressive win. I think you could say it was the win of the season so far. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, without RJ for sure. Like, I think that alone makes this one of the more impressive wins.
Yeah,
especially also not doing well defensively.
There's these shots with Grimes and DiVincenzo. There were multiple corner 3 shots they got where I was like, obviously it's a stupid thing, right? You can't everybody does it, but it's like kind of dumb when you think about it when you get mad at guys for like missing a shot, because it's like that's not like an effort thing. You know what I mean? Like you're not like, oh, he didn't really want to make that shot. He didn't try. But like there were multiple corner 3s from those guys, from like Randle or Quickly or Brunson passes that they missed. And I'm just like, you can't miss that. You have to make that shot. This is stupid. But no, it's the key is keep finding those guys. Keep trusting them. Keep putting them in position. They're good shooters. Like the averages are going to work out. And honestly, in Grimes' case, they already have. 3 of 7
he's like shooting like 40% on the year, right?
Yeah, he's well over 40% from 3. Or he's not well over, but he is over 40% from 3. Do we have any news, by the way, on his hand injury? It didn't look like it would be that serious, and I feel like it's probably precautionary. It was also his non-shooting hand, which is good. Also might mean that he dribbles less, which is also a good thing.
Speaking of him dribbling less, although the dribbling was very painful with a lot of the turnovers, I do like the aggressiveness from him tonight, at least. Like he just seemed a little bit more, I guess, like sure of himself. And maybe it's just I think he plays pretty well versus the Hawks in general. But yeah, I just thought that tonight was just a little bit. It was just a different look from Grimes that we've seen from the rest of the year. Like he was definitely doing more stuff off the dribble.
He had 3 turnovers, and like most people would look at that and be like, "Holy shit, how did Quentin Grimes have 3 turnovers?" But to me, it enforces your point, Sam, because Quentin Grimes never has that many turnovers because if he commits one, he goes into a shell. But tonight, he didn't let those turnovers get him down, and he stuck with it. I thought that was incredibly impressive and encouraging to see. I think that's a great point by you. I would say the same thing about Jalen Brunson. He's always a low turnover guy, but I loved his approach tonight, and I love the fact that he didn't let a couple turnovers where he was trying to create for teammates. I love that didn't let him alter his approach. He didn't force too many shots. He kept looking for teammates, and when Tibbs called for it down the stretch, he said, "I've got DeJounte Murray on me. Okay, quickly and Randle, take us home." And my favorite Brunson play of the entire night, I can picture it perfectly. Randle gets stuck in the middle, and Brunson has one of the best relocations you'll ever see, and he like zigzags around to the corner and hits the go-ahead 3 to go up, I think 102, 101, or maybe 120, one of those numbers. And it was just like, yes, this is the vision. This is the guy who can be the best offensive player on a team that does really well because he's not just dominating the ball. He's helping you off the ball, and he's helping he's elevating his teammates off the ball. This was an awesome game from Brunson. I just wanted the last thing I want to say, Schwinn, before I turn it over to you is more evidence that I'm like Tibbs is just like, I'm just loving Tibbs for some reason now. The maddest I was tonight wasn't even missed threes that I knew should go in. It was when Hart and Quickly both passed up wide open corner threes. And I was just like,
what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I was just like, dude, just shoot the ball. Like in the same way that you can't let turnovers hurt your approach or alter your approach or your confidence in terms of playmaking, these guys can't let a couple of misses affect their confidence, and they have to let it fly.
Totally agree. This from Hawkeye, bro, that behind the back turnover by Grimes. What was that boy smoking? That was the one in transition, right? I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? It was
he was really feeling himself at that moment.
Yeah, that was a very, I'm not gonna lie, when he did that, I was almost immediately expecting to see like Tibbs do like the Jesus Christ, and then like point it quickly to come and like go in, but he didn't. He left him in, which is good for him. I think he needed that.
That's Grimes' version of a heat check. Those moves.
That is his version of a heat check. But yeah, he it's better for him to fuck up and keep going than it is for him to, fuck up and be like, oh, I'm not going to do anything now. I still am a little bit disturbed that we have a 2-guard who like can't beat
dribbles like me.
Yeah, he dribbles like January 6th is his favorite day of the year. But he like he just, I'm like, I need you to be able to just blow by Trae Young. I need to see that, please. But to go back to what you're talking about with Brunson, like I slightly disagree. Like I thought in the middle of the game, he kind of like he was taking a little bit too long to get into the offense. Especially, I'm kind of curious about this. I wonder if this is what is going on. The last 2 games, the start of both games, you can tell there's been a conscious like, we got to push the ball, we got to push the ball, we got to push the ball. And when they've come back in, specifically Brunson and Randle, when they've come back in for their second stints, it feels like they're not quite as sharp. They're a little bit slower. They're walking the ball up the floor more. And I wonder if that is part of them still working to get their legs underneath them entirely. And I thought, especially towards the end of the third quarter, or I guess when he came back in to start the fourth quarter, Brunson, that is, I didn't totally love that. I also thought he had a bad stretch to start the third quarter and the end of the second quarter. It wasn't like, it wasn't bad in the way of like, he's just turning the ball over a shit ton or something like that. But I just felt like he was taking too long to get into the offense. And to your point, like the difference between him at the end of the game versus those moments was like, he got off the ball and then made shit happen off of it. He was a threat off the ball. And just seeing what he was able to do in the fourth quarter, you're like, man, if you just embrace that part of your game, and not that he can't, not that you're like never initiate offense. Obviously that's ridiculous. But like when you don't have it going, like he didn't have it going today, right off the bounce. Like that fucking one layup he took that he threw off the top of the backboard. I was like, all right, buddy, like let's settle down here. But like to see him almost recognize that I don't have it going off the bounce right now. And maybe this is also it's Tibbs thing too, but like, look, coaches disregard player instructions all the time. So, it would have been easy for him to be like, man, Tibbs doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I got this. I'm going to take us home. And he didn't, he let Randle and he let Quickly cook and he let them make the game easier for him. And that's huge. Yeah, that's huge for him. And that's huge for the Knicks. Like, cause it's not just Quickly and Randle, right? We didn't even RJ is a guy that can make the game easier for him. He can make the game easier for you. Let these guys make the game easier for you, right? You don't need to constantly, like I've been saying this. It's felt like the entire year, he hit such a high level in the playoffs, like such a high level as a scorer. And it just feels like so much of this season, there are these moments where you feel like he's kind of searching for that high, that no, I'm just going to make every fucking mid-range shot and cook this guy in ISO. And it's like, dude, it's awesome that you have that ability and that level.
We got to build back up to that,
Yeah. Also, like, this is not game 7. This is just game 11 against Trae Young and the Hawks. Like, this is just a game, dude. Like, so
relax, man. You can take it easy. Quickly's got us tonight.
Yeah, we don't need you to like ISO, for 3 straight possessions in the middle of the second quarter to settle us down or something. Like, no, like just keep running offense. But no, it's honestly sometimes it's important to see guys struggle in a game and come out of it and within the game. It's important. I think that's a really important attribute for all players to have, where like you can't just be somebody who, when shit goes bad for you during the game, you don't have that ability to kind of like mentally overcome that adversity in game. Now, and obviously I don't think any of us, and I'm certainly not suggesting that that's something we didn't know about Brunson, but it was just something that I felt like he needed this. And I liked this game from him way more than that first game in Atlanta when he had whatever, 8 threes or whatever. I thought this was just like a different performance, a different game where they really needed him to step up at a critical moment, and he did. So yeah, awesome game from him. And again, to me, there's just so many guys tonight that you could really say things about. DiVincenzo, weird game, like did some really good stuff, did some stuff that I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. He had 2 turnovers on inbounds passes today. The first one was ridiculous. He just like ignored Josh Hart and then tried to throw some pass to Hartenstein, which never had a chance of getting through. But the last one, I don't know, that 5-second count. I thought that was pretty quick.
Yeah, that was.
Nick's Muse already timed it. It was 4.7 seconds.
That was really quick, I thought.
Yeah. It was, yeah. Just would never, yeah.
But I will say, like, I just think right now it feels like he's kind of super high energy and almost like it's like he's can't stop moving. And that leads to some sloppiness with the ball at times. But you can see what this guy will add when he just kind of settles down. Like, and I'm willing to give him time because I like the kind of broad strokes of the game that you see from him. Like, his movement is awesome. His cutting is great. I wish he would be a better finisher, but I still love the cutting. I think it adds a lot to the team. And some of his instincts in terms of like playing the passing lanes are ridiculous.
So good. He that deflection that went out of bounds was such a well-timed steal, or almost steal, excuse me.
And that he had one that didn't get called because Brunson drew a charge, but that like he completely baited Trae Young into a turnover there. If you watch it, he's almost like he like Ed Reeded him. He was just like, oh no, yeah, totally make that pass over there to the corner. Psych, got it. And that was about to be a pick six. That was about to be a pick six.
Have you ever seen that the Peyton Manning Bill Belichick video talking about Ed Reed?
Yes.
That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like, if whoever's listening to this, just YouTube Peyton Manning and Bill Belichick talking about Ed Reed. It's legitimately one of the coolest stories I've ever heard. Like, it just shows how smart those guys are, how prepared they are. Like, it's just next level stuff. It's only a minute or two long. And it's so cool.
The funniest thing about Bill Belichick is the guy coached Brady for like 75 years, and the only guys he ever praises publicly are like Lawrence Taylor and Ed Reed. But
and Peyton,
obviously, and Aaron Rodgers.
There's another story from that special where Tom Brady and Bill Belichick talk about Belichick's like, remember that one off season where you were like, hey Peyton, why do you guys do this? And Peyton like told him, and then they came back to camp and just ran that play for the next 10 years or whatever. I love shit like that. That stuff's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not for Bills fans, but
No,
not for Broncos fans. Not for Broncos fans either, I promise.
Not for any AFC East or any fan of an AFC team. But
what did you think, Schwinn, not to make this a football pod, what did you think of me saying that I think the Bills, if they make the playoffs, are a good Super Bowl bet?
Yeah, if they make the playoffs from here, that means they have figured out a lot of shit during the most difficult part of the football. So yes, I would say that would be a good bet, assuming they make the playoffs. I do not think they will make the playoffs though. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like with DiVincenzo, you can see it. It's just not there consistently all the time.
It's not coming together.
Yeah, I think
because there have been games where he has the 3-point shooting. There have been games where
the last time
every game. Yeah, the last time we were in Atlanta. Yeah. So I mean, you're just waiting for it all to come together.
Yeah, he'll get it together at some point. He's still figuring out his way in some of these lineups. I still feel like him and Hart. I don't know. I feel like they're just like, I'm like, dude, can you guys like actually stop moving for a few seconds? Jesus, like. They're just constantly cutting all over the place. But
one of the cool things, Schwinn, another cool thing about Tibbs is, as much as this makes him kind of a maniac, with volatile players like DiVincenzo, I trust. This sounds so weird to say based on how much I criticize him. I trust Tibbs I trust Tibbs to recognize the games where DiVincenzo's strengths are being emphasized and correlate with being necessary in that game. And I also trust Tibbs to be like, okay, his weaknesses are too loud in this game. I'm just not even going to bother. Like, he's going to play 11 minutes tonight. You know, like you could see in big games, DiVincenzo's minutes really bouncing around based on, okay, is he jumping into passing lanes in good spots? And is this helping our team? Is he making threes? Is his offensive rebounding timely? And is the other team not picking up on it? If those things aren't being recognized and actually are being exploited by the other team, I literally could see DiVincenzo play 10, 12 minutes in a big playoff game, because that's just how Tibbs is. And that's, it's both maddening because, okay, Tibbs, it's a regular season game. Jalen Brunson doesn't need to play 42 minutes. But at the same time, I do think it gives this group of players the best chance to get to where they need to go, because he's kind of he's minimizing the times that they're at their lowest, and then he's getting the most out of them, because DiVincenzo could just turn around and play 28 minutes on a certain night when it's really going well for him.
About DiVincenzo in the playoffs, it brings up an interesting point, because Warriors fans were very disappointed with DiVincenzo's impact in the playoffs. Do we think that's because he had too big of a role in Golden State, and you think on the Knicks that he'll have a much simplified role?
Yeah, I very specifically talked to. I did a pod over the summer with one of my friends who's a Warriors fan, and he specifically mentioned this. He was like, the biggest problem we had is that we needed DiVincenzo to basically be like our third or fourth or like best player, and that's just asking way too much of him. Like, that's not. If you need him to be your third or fourth or fifth best player, you're just not a championship team. Like, that's just not what he is.
It started to regress, and then
it's
on and off. Like,
it's like when Tibbs decides like Josh Hart needs to play 78 minutes and like be our third best player. So you're just like, yeah, dude, like that's cool, but that's just a terrible role for him. He's totally incapable of it. But yeah, I think like you can see with DiVincenzo, you're like, man, when you do figure it out, I don't know when that's gonna happen, but when you do. You're just going to add so much to this team. And the thing is, he already has, even without playing that well yet. Like, you haven't lost anything on the defensive glass. You haven't lost any. He adds value on the glass in a way that Obi, like, bless his heart, Obi was never going to be a rebounder. He never was an impact rebounder like that. He's already juicing.
Shout out Obi, by the way.
Yeah, great game from him yesterday. And he's already juicing your ability to get on transition, your ability to turn teams over. That one tie up he missed that three. He had no business tying up Bogdanovich on that. That was like an insane reflex hustle play. That was crazy. There was that one in the I think it was in the first half where he pretty clearly got beat backdoor, but he's just so good with his hands in the passing lane. He actually stole the ball on the back cut. He just, you can see it. I'm not worried about him. I think he's gonna be fine. I actually thought he had some really nice sequences with Quickly, like them playing off each other in the first half. He like quickly banged in a three off of a DiVincenzo kind of transition push, and then the next possession down, Quick hit him for a corner three. DiVincenzo didn't cash it in, but you can just kind of see them starting to like
find that chemistry.
Yeah, like look for each other, know where each other is going to be. So it's good. Like I just think like give it like 20, 25 games. I think around that time he'll start picking it up. And we might need him here pretty soon if Grimes misses any significant time. He will be somebody who I expect to see his minutes increase a lot. And I will say, to the point about like Tibbs just coaching a good game today, I wasn't really sure why he I didn't really understand why he left DiVincenzo in and pulled Quickly when he did. Just because I was like, okay, look, I get that Quick's kind of struggling a little bit right here now, but you need your offense is stuck in the mud. Like you need to keep him in here and hope that he figures it out, because you need to get your creators in the game right now. He left DiVincenzo in for like 2 possessions, and then immediately, I think he either called the timeout or just like immediately put Quickly back in the game for him. But it was another sign of him just like having his kind of finger on the pulse of the game and not fucking around tonight. And to your point about the minutes with like Brunson or whatever, in general, I agree. And I did feel like tonight felt like a game. Not only did they, I don't want to say they needed it. You don't need the 11th game of the season, but it did feel like one they wanted. It felt like they really wanted this victory. And by the way, I don't know if do we play Atlanta 2 more times or just once? Either way, being up 2 on them in the season series, a team that I think we're going to be competing for seeding, being up 2-0 on them in the series with the other game or 2 games potentially that we have left against them at the Garden, is nice. So yeah, I'm like, this is probably pretty easily, this is pretty easily my favorite win of the season so far. I just thought they showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot of character, and they gritted this out in a situation where like you said it, Jeff, like 101-94 Quickly misses that shot. There's a chance you're just like, all right, it's over, mail it in. And they didn't. They fought. They battled back. That was a very non-Knicksy non-fake comeback. It was a real comeback. So it was nice to see. And it was nice to just see so many guys contribute to it.
We only get them one more time, so we won the season series.
Yeah, March 5th.
Oh, even better, right? Even better.
I have I don't mean this in a rain on the parade type way. I'm just curious what you guys think. Let's say Grimes is out 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something, 2-3 weeks, and RJ's back next game. Who is taking Grimes' spot in the starting lineup in you guys' opinion?
Cool.
I think it'll be DiVincenzo. Ooh. Oh wait. Oh, sorry. You're saying if RJ is back?
Yeah, with RJ back.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we already know the answer. Come on. Come on.
I don't want that to be the answer.
I don't know, man, because like I spoke with shit on the last post game about how Thibs has guys in like slotted roles. So like when one guy is out, he inserts this other guy for them in the starting lineup. So he sees Quickly as a point guard. So when Jalen Brunson is out, that's when he puts Quickly in the starting lineup. When RJ is out, he sees RJ as the 3. So he also sees Josh Hart as the 3. So he puts Josh Hart in for RJ. So if Grimes is out, I feel like he's going to take DiVincenzo, who he sees as the backup 2, and put DiVincenzo as the starting 2. I think that's how it goes.
I think I'm going to donate my like connecting facial hair here to Quickly. Think he needs that. It's not looking good for him there. Might need to shave that, buddy.
He's going with the Wolverine.
I don't know. For me, I think Quickly occupies a very weird place in his brain where he like wants to put him in a box, but then he's also like very keenly aware that
he can't.
That he's also like, but I can play you at the 2, huh? interesting. Like
Peculiar.
interesting. Yeah. I don't know. It annoys me, but I do get why he likes keeping quickly off the bench. I understand it. I don't think it has anything to do with not valuing him. I actually think he values him immensely, and that is precisely why he wants to keep him on the bench, because he knows that the Knicks have this benefit of having a quality creator that they can put in when Brunson comes out of the game, when RJ comes out of the game, when Randle is resting, whatever, right? Like you have this guy that can pick up the usage, and I think that's a really, really valuable thing. I mean, I'm not saying Emmanuel Quickley is going to be this guy. I'm just saying this is a reason why Popovich loved keeping Manu in that sixth man role. It gives you a lot of options. It gives you a lot of versatility. So in that sense, I don't. But like, man, like the hard RJ thing. If that's what we go to, it'll just be really brutal. I really would just start DiVincenzo though. I think that would actually be really interesting, and it might be a good way to kind of like get him going. Although you got to think like if DiVincenzo got an extended run as a starter and was really cooking, I don't think
This is like, this might be long term.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him if they're playing really well. It's kind of hard to just be like, well, sorry, Quentin. It might not be the worst thing for Grimes either, by the way, if that were to happen. But that's
Grimes in the second unit actually, yeah, like I think that actually might be really good for him. There's more movement in that unit.
The one.
Oh my god,
Michael Scott comment.
Yeah, that was funny. The one I just want to push back a little bit on you, Schwinn, is I'm not as convinced as you are that Tibbs is like all in. Like, I don't think Brunson plays 41 minutes tonight if he fully trusts Quickley.
I don't think Quickley though. I don't think
it did. I think he didn't like the way the offense ran without Brunson. I think that was I think it was entirely an indictment on Quickley.
I don't agree. I think that was an indictment on the fact that he doesn't trust Deuce McBride at all. That's what it's an indictment on to me. Like, he basically had the option of playing Deuce McBride like 11 minutes tonight or something like that and resting Brunson a bit more, or just being like, fuck it, I'm not going to do that. We need to win this game. And that's what I think it's more of an indictment on. Do I agree with that? Not really. I mean, I don't even know how to judge that. Like, Deuce hasn't played, like, he hasn't played to be like, to have a judgment on him right now. And I thought he looked good in preseason. I really think that he deserves minutes when RJ is out anyways. And like I'm not saying he was the fucking driving factor, but he was in the rotation when the Knicks turned their season around last year. Like he clearly has value. I don't think it's about Quickley. I think it's about Deuce, because to me, he basically was like, okay, RJ's not playing. I think we need a second creator in this lineup. I don't think Deuce is that guy. I'm not sure Grimes is that guy. Actually, I'm sure Grimes isn't that guy. I'm going to then therefore play Brunson in this role. And very specifically, I think this is worth mentioning. I have not liked the Randle with the bench minutes at all this year. So maybe he didn't like it either and was like, well, I guess I'm going to try Brunson then in that role today because RJ's not here. We would need to see more, though. If this continued against, like, we're playing like the fucking Spurs again or something, and he did the same thing, then I would probably lend more credence to what you're saying. But I thought this was just a game that was like a game they felt they needed and they wanted, and because RJ was out, he had that, like, that was kind of the choice, and he went with let me up Brunson's minutes. But we'll see. I mean, over time, we will see as the season goes on. I do think I'm very interested to see what this Grimes injury is, because if it's a long-term injury, I feel like I don't know if they would just be like, well, we'll just play it out until Grimes gets back. Like, you've got that Fournier contract just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. And you have these protected first. You have your first. I'm not saying they're going to go make some huge fucking star trade because Grimes is out. But I think they might be like, you know what? Like, let's say Grimes is out for 2 months, right? okay, we don't have 2 months to just like play 8 guys. Like, no, we need to go get somebody right now. I think they might do that. It would be funny if they went and got mine and yours favorite player, Jeff, Keldon Johnson. That'd be funny. By the way, can we just say, I know this has nothing to do with this game tonight. The Spurs are fucking awful. Like, they're the worst team in the NBA by far.
There are a lot of awful teams this year.
No, they are the worst. They have lost 2 games already by 40 plus. They lost last night by 36. They lost to us by, what was it, 21? And that easily, that basically was
that
like
could have been 40.
That was like a 30-point game, basically. They're fucking awful. They're
Man, awful. The Wizards, though, like the Wizards, they're not close in any games. At least the Spurs, they've been close in some games. The Wizards, it feels like every time I check their box score, they're getting smoked by like 25 plus.
But the thing is, the Wizards just suck.
And the Wizards the Wizards have better talent too, which makes it even worse.
The thing is, they shouldn't. Like, everybody loves the Spurs talent. Oh, fucking Wemby.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves Wemby and DiVincenzo. I don't know.
DiVincenzo, he could be a second option on a contender. You haven't heard?
Man, do people really say that?
That's
an exaggeration.
Yeah.
But man, it's like the Wizards and the Hornets and the Spurs. They are like
this is Hawkeye 420. Schwinn, I keep spamming you on Twitter about it. Pop is tanking for a generational big 3, and they will get rewarded for it. I have seen your spamming. I like those tweets, and I move on because I'm trying to not will them into existence. I'm trying to not will that into existence.
Pop's devil magic is just way too strong. Oh man.
It's from Villain X. Knicks need another 6'5" and under player. Yes, I will say. So one guy that I've been, it's funny because we were talking about Jalen Johnson, and I brought him up in relation to Jalen Johnson. I would be intrigued by one Rui Hachimura as a potential. If the Lakers want Zach LaVine, I would be interested in getting in
the third team,
in being a third team.
So here's my concern with Rui. He is benefiting from so much LeBron Lakers luck. Like, all he's doing is shooting really hot right now. There's no chance he's keeping that up in New York. Sam already knows it. I know Sam knows it. He'll come here and shoot 20% from 3, and he'll still be doing the same very little of the other stuff. It's
so funny because Lakers fans, they feel like they have the same issue when shooters come to them sometimes. Like, they feel like when Malik Beasley was there, they felt like he was an absolute dud.
Well, he was terrible for them.
He was. Which is hilarious because he was like a sniper right before he got there in Utah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird with the Knicks.
I mean,
we just overall don't shoot that well anyway. So it's just like
the Lakers made the Western Conference Finals because Lonnie Walker outplayed Steph Curry. I don't want to hear shit about how role players underperform when they go to the Lakers. All right, like, give me a break. Lonnie Walker won Game 4 of a playoff series for them. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson was fucking suffocating because he got no help from anybody for 20 games. Like, give me a break.
Well, I mean, do you think Rui would be worth, like, I don't know, the fucking
protected?
Yeah, like the Washington protected first or something.
Probably. My analysis wasn't actual analysis. I was just projecting us getting unlucky. I don't actually disagree with what you were saying. I was just assuming he would regress.
He's just an interesting player to me. Like, he's an interesting kind of, like, I agree. The shooting, he's not. It's like the RJ thing, right? Like, RJ's not going to shoot 50% from 3. Rui Hachimura is not going to end up shooting he's shooting 47.6% from 3 so far.
That's insane. That's insane.
But, like,
I mean, this continues the BS shooting that he was shooting in the playoffs, though.
Yeah. I mean, and I think, he might just be, also to your point about, like, he might just be benefiting from the space that he has to get off threes with the Lakers. Like, obviously LeBron and AD command a lot of attention. But, like, he'd be playing here with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, who command significant attention. They do. It's not a joke, but obviously not as much maybe as LeBron James.
I mean, it's like night and day compared to what he was dealing with in Washington, where, like, he was doing God knows whatever with God knows who.
Look, there's one player I will always vouch to come back. This from Hawkeye 420. Kevin actually, and jokes aside, they do need a wing. No, will this be a 10-man rotation season because of size? Pause. Is that Alec Burks' music that I'm hearing? Is that Alec Burks'
man.
music that I'm hearing? Bring back Alec Burks, man. Bring him back. I would love him back here.
Man, me and Terry, I feel like me and Tyrese, we've been pining for this since like last year when we saw how well he was playing for the Pistons. Like,
also, I just feel like I never see him miss a three anymore. Every time I watch him, just like, oh, there he is.
and he's been like actually consistently healthy for like the past like what 4 or 5 years now. Like for the first time.
If you're listening to this and you're bored, clip this, record it on the off chance the Knicks do bring him back, because when Schwinn and Sam are bitching about Tibbs playing him 40 minutes a night in 3 months, I need this. I need the evidence of this. I can't believe you guys are doing this. Like,
But
what
see,
the
Well,
fuck?
I mean, with Alec Burks, it's like the Josh Hart thing now. It's like you're playing a guy in a role that he doesn't need to be playing in for.
What if he takes Josh Hart's minutes? What if he just takes Josh Hart's minutes?
Yeah.
What a weird ass cycle that would be.
Schwinn writing Tom Thibodeau fan fiction. That'll never occur, you know? Like,
oh my gosh. Like, imagine a backcourt of Alec Burks and Josh Hart. Thibs would absolutely
what if he like, you know, kind of like it's like Succession, and he's like, oh, you're definitely my best boy, Josh Hart. Just kidding. Alec Burks is now my favorite child and now my successor. Or is it Emmanuel Quickly today?
Quickly walks in complaining like Kieran Culkin, and Tibbs is just like, oh, fuck off.
But no, I look, I take your point. Obviously that would be a concern, but like, I always thought I always wanted to get rid of Fournier over him. I always liked Alec Burks' game. Now even more, like, I watch this team now and I'm like, I feel like we play now more in a way that would let you just be like the best version of yourself, which is, I mean, the dude is a fucking sniper now. Like, he is a 40% plus consistent 3-point shooter. And you know, the thing with Burks too is like, he's still always got that like annoying craft to get to the free throw line. And he can
jerky stuff.
Yeah. And he can create a pull up three for himself when you need him to. Just don't tell that man to drive to the rim. Please don't do that anymore. But like, no, I look, it's like kind of a joke, but at the same time, I'm like, if you did, let's say Grimes is not getting, if Grimes is out for 2-3 months, I don't know if you can just be like, let's roll with these 8 guys. Burks would just be a really good player to bring back in the sense that, like, obviously, you know that he knows the system. He knows basically everybody on the team, right? He's played with Randle, he's played with RJ, he's played with Quick, he's played with Mitch. He hasn't played.
Know who to play with.
Yeah, he does. He hasn't played with Hartenstein. He hasn't played with. I don't think he's played with Josh Hart ever. And he hasn't played with Brunson. But like, he's got a lot of institutional knowledge already.
Alec Burks, the missing championship piece.
Yes, exactly. Alec MJ Burks. Shout out Jason Aravallo for that comment.
Man, the way he used to perform in the clutch sometimes during his tenure here was insane. Like, you're like, I know teams were pissed. They're like, Alec Burks is like really gaming us right now. Like, what the hell?
It's just crazy to me. He's still in fucking Detroit. What are they doing with him there?
What is Detroit doing in general?
What is the point of Alec Burks on a team that has? I get like, oh, we want to have some vets around. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. Like get the like 2 or 3 seconds you're gonna get from him. Move the fuck on. Like, you're a joke. But yeah, I would gladly bring Burks back. I think he'd be such a good player for us. And again, this is if Grimes is out for an extended period of time, obviously, though.
Once again, I more so agree with you guys. I was just I was doing a bit. He is shooting 3 this year on over 6 attempts a game, so that's pretty good. Maybe we'd have the bet. Maybe we'd have the new Splash Bros and Burks and RJ, taking over for Steph and Clay. So sorry to interrupt you, Sam.
No, I was gonna bring up how earlier, so I forgot who had mentioned it, bringing up how the Knicks seem to be they look like they're trying to play with more pace this year. Do we think that it's because they feel like last year's offense was more predictable and they're trying to just change things up just a little bit just to make the offense a little bit easier, I guess?
Yeah, I just think I think they know their half court offense just isn't. It just wasn't good last season. I mean, excuse me, it was good, but it was good for a reason. You're right. It wasn't dynamic, great word, but it also just wasn't good for a reason that was that was conducive to succeeding in the playoffs. It was so heavily dependent on offensive rebounds. I think they're trying to diversify a little bit. I don't know if anybody else noticed this. I'm a friggin' loser, so I picked up on this. There was a really cool play in the third or fourth quarter where Mitch got a rebound and handed it to Quickly, and Brunson had a cross match, and Brunson was clapping for the ball, and Quickly like waved for him to run.
He told him to go up.
He told him to just sprint up the court and keep the cross match, and Quickly raced the ball up the court and then passed the ball to Brunson so that he kept the cross match. Stuff like that is so important, especially for one-on-one scorers against Brunson. And I think they're just starting to emphasize little edges like that. You know, I think they're starting to realize that Schwinn made a great point earlier. It's the reason we got smoked by Boston. Anytime we start the offense later in the shot clock, whether it's due to pressure or just general lethargy, I guarantee you we're a bottom 5 team in the league on points per possession, like the last 10 seconds of the shot clock, because it just nothing ever happens. The play that Schwinn was talking about with Brunson tonight was maddening. Like Brunson just dribbled around near half court until 8 seconds or so, and then he drove and picked up his dribble and he had nothing. And it was like,
he threw it to DiVincenzo, right? And then DiVincenzo had to it was just a bad spot. Like it's DiVincenzo's turnover, but you're like, anybody watching that play, if you're putting that on him, come on, like be fucking serious.
So I think an emphasis on pace just removes. It's trying to remove some of those bottom tier possessions. I think that's the goal.
Yeah, and I think, like I mentioned this in the offseason when we signed him, like DiVincenzo has played for high-paced teams basically almost exclusively through his career in the NBA. Milwaukee, high-paced team. Golden State, high-paced team. Kings for 30 seconds, high-paced team. Like he's exclusively played for high-paced teams. And so I think the more you get guys that are comfortable and familiar playing at pace like that, the more it'll kind of shape and change and evolve your play style. And you know, maybe even more than Brunson, Randle is a guy that can benefit from that if he buys in. So yeah, I do agree with Jeff. I think it's like they're starting to maybe understand a little bit of like what the benefits are and how to maximize those benefits. But it's a work in progress. It's going to take time. You can't go from being, and they still are, the slowest paced team in the league, although tonight I imagine would have upped the pace. But you can't go from being the slowest paced team in the league to being like, oh, we want to play fast now, super, super fast, right? Like it takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah, those kinds of changes just rarely happen, you know. It's why, you know, to bring it to RJ, some people see it as an insult when if I were to say like, oh man, I'd be thrilled if he finished the season, you know, between 37 and 40% from three. It's not an insult at all. That would be a significant improvement. And I know that's worse than what he's shooting right now, but it would be historically unprecedented if RJ went from 31% on decent volume to mid 40s. Like that would be an all-time improvement from season to season. So you just gotta understand that these, you know, even linear progression, it happens I'm blanking on the word, but it just doesn't, it's tough to make a huge leap like that, I guess, without like a system I would believe that they could go from 30th to first if they replace Tom Thibodeau with Mike D'Antoni, you know, like that I could see, but keeping Tibbs as the coach, you know, beggars can't be choosers. And if they go from 30th to 22nd, and they up their pace by a few possessions per 100, that's still significant from one season to the next.
Yeah. It's just, again, it's going to take time. It'll take a bit, but Brunson especially, I think, just needs, the biggest thing with him is he can play fast if he is like not the one bringing the ball up the floor. Like he is his own impediment to playing fast, which is why, yeah. And so I think it is like the key to getting them to play fast when Brunson is on the floor is to actually let others bring the ball up. And that'll help him out a ton.
Nick's tape says, I think the RJ bench minutes look so good because RJ feels comfortable taking a back seat to quick at points, and that's why the chemistry is so good there. And Julius still sees himself as top dog with that lineup as opposed to playing within the flow of that lineup. This also brings up, this also connects to what Schwinn was saying earlier about like Brunson today being able to recognize, hey, I don't have it going for these couple of possessions. Let me let, IQ and Randle run the show for a little bit while I, stay over to the side. I feel like that is such a big difference in why you're able to trust a Jalen Brunson as opposed to a Julius Randle when he doesn't have it going, because Julius Randle most of the time will not have that self-awareness to take that backseat to those guys, or he won't be as willing to take that backseat to those guys. Like we saw in years past of like when Julius like is not having the ball in certain possessions, or so other guys have it going and they're the ones running the show. He's not as involved as he probably should be, and like a lot of his movements aren't as, I guess, like he'll set like half-hearted screens, he'll like half-heartedly jog into a play or whatever it is. So that I think that today alone shows the contrast in the two leading guys for this team.
Yeah, and to this point, like the way Julius played tonight, he can be the top dog. If you play like that and you're willing to get off the ball before a double comes, or you see the double and you're able to kick to the open man, or you're willing to play the 2-man game with Quick or with Brunson or whatever, that you can be the top dog. I just don't need you to take every fucking shot when you are. Like his usage with that bench unit, his usage this year with Brunson off the floor coming into tonight was like 37.3. That's crazy. That's Embiid level usage. That should never happen for him. That's how he destroys zone efficiency and ends up looking like, like a terrible basketball player. Like he is his own worst enemy. And tonight it was just nice to see him not kind of. He always has this tendency when he gets doubled to like hold the ball, wait for the double to come, and then he loves to try to step through, jump in the air, and then he has to make a pass at the last second. And like you just didn't see that tonight. He was accepting the double, but then getting rid of the ball in pretty quick order. He wasn't holding on to it so much. So I thought he played a really good game. I can't say enough about it. It was easily the best game of the season for him. And gotta say, he does seem to love playing Atlanta nowadays.
Must be Magic City.
Lemon pepper wings.
Yeah, those wings, they must be really good.
Smell like fish.
All right.
Next comment. Jesus Christ.
Okay. I mean, I think we pretty much got through most of the comments here. I mean, Brunson played 41 minutes tonight.
I don't know. I get being, if this was like 3 games in a row of this, I'd get it. Not really that upset about this. It was a close game.
You're missing
competitive game.
Players.
Yeah, you're out. RJ Grimes gets hurt. Again, do you want to see this sustained for the next 5 games or something? No, but 1 game, not too upset about it. I mean, like, I know that the comparison will be like, well, look at Atlanta's box score. They didn't do that. And sure, Atlanta didn't do that. I also don't really understand what their substitution patterns were at all tonight. I think it might have been Nick's tape that brought it up earlier. I
know that they stagger Murray and Trey.
Yeah, which is good. But like, I think Nick's tape brought it up earlier that Bogdanovich went out with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I agree. I don't really understand what that was about. But hey, thanks. Thank you. I mean, I don't even know, when did the Knicks actually make their comeback though? Because I feel like it was after that they even extended the lead, right? The Hawks, because that was. I also didn't. I had no idea Wes Matthews was on the Hawks. By the way,
he was like out for like the first how many games of the season. I think he just like recently came back.
Yeah, he fucking sucks.
Dude, that 1-3 hit. I almost threw something at the restaurant. Like,
was that him, or was it him that he hit a 3 where it like hit underneath the rim and somehow bounced in, or is that?
No,
that was Sadiq
that
Bey.
was Sadiq Bey from the corner, same spot.
I literally, like, when he let go of that, it It hit the bottom of the rim. You will not convince me it hit the top. It hit it bounced up, and I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, this is gonna go in. You're about to fucking get a fucking bounce off the rim from the corner. That makes no sense at all. That's insane. But yeah, so they were up. Well, let's see. Bogdanovich was still in the game. Oh, Bogdanovich got pulled. So he came out at 94-101. They put Jalen Johnson back in. That's when the Knicks made their run. Also, funny enough, that's when Capella went in for Okongwu. By the way, can I just say, I want to throw something out there. I think Okongwu's kind of a dirty player.
Okay.
I did not love that offensive foul he had on Brunson, but that was whatever. There was a play in the fourth quarter where him and Josh Hart, like when Josh Hart tied him up, right, for that jump ball. After Hart tied him up, you see Okongwu, and he like swung his elbow up into his face. And I just seen him like, he picks up a lot of charges, Okongwu. Maybe it's not dirty. Maybe he's just a fucking idiot. But like, he just goes into these charges like guys aren't there. And I'm like, dude, you're running full speed into like a guard. That seems crazy. And he leads with his shoulder a lot. He leads with his elbow a lot. I don't know. He's somebody I don't know. I've seen a lot of this, not even, this isn't just this game. Just like when I watch them and I catch them, I feel like I've seen that a lot with him. So, I don't know. He's not my favorite guy. I'm just happy we beat him. And I'm happy that Mitchell is also his father.
Dude, go rewatch Chris Paul diving into Conley's knees from
crazy.
2 games ago.
That was crazy.
Like, that was dirty. That, like, Chris Paul is a dirty player. I think Okongwu might just not be fully in tune with how big and athletic he is. Like, I've never gotten the vibe that Okongwu was out there, going after people. I just feel like he's energetic and a big dude who can jump, who's really fast and can jump high. Like, I think he's a really good player too. I said before the season that my two comments on the Hawks were they should start Jalen Johnson 1 for 2, and they should trade Capella to just fully unleash Okongwu and let him play 30 to 35 minutes a game, because I think he's already better than Capella.
He is better than Capella. I just have no idea. Like, it's a very weird situation. I don't even know who's going to trade for Clint Capella. You know what I mean? That's the hardest part for them. It's who wants him.
Somebody.
Really.
I mean, I actually think offensive rebounds are making a bit of a comeback. So the Hawks could, like, there's got to be a team out there that just need, like, the Mavericks or something. I know the Mavericks have Lively, but maybe Dwight Powell's their only other center. Convince the Mavericks that Capella could be a useful, maybe they could just be like, oh, Lively's a rookie. What if he starts to struggle? It'd be good to have Capella and not have Dwight Powell be their only center. Other center.
I mean, they do have Rashawn Holmes. Don't forget.
Nice.
And Maxi Kleber.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, is Austin Reeves just like not good anymore? What's going on with this guy?
That whole FIBA team, that there needs to be like a documentary or like a mini series about what happened with that FIBA team.
Yeah, they need to.
Who else is struggling, Sam?
From that FIBA team?
Yeah, from the FIBA team. Is Ingram struggling?
I know Ingram had a pretty rough start to the year. And
Brunson.
Pelicans fans are turning on him because he's like isoing like crazy and like is leaving Zion in the dust.
They started the world's most ridiculous lineup I've ever seen in my entire life the other night. They had Dyson Daniels, Zion, Jonas Valanciunas, Herb Jones, and Brandon Ingram. So like
spacing.
Who is their shooter there? I don't even know. I guess Ingram is their best 3-point shooter, but that's not good.
That's insane.
He's not a volume 3-point shooter. He's not comfortable just catching and shooting out there.
You need
that's
Ingram
why he struggled
so
much in Team USA.
Yeah, you want Ingram with the ball inside the arc, surrounded by shooters. That's what you want.
It's why I've always been of the opinion that him and Zion are just not a great fit together.
Yeah, I agree completely. But Sam, I'm asking you this because I feel like Edwards, Halliburton, these guys.
Edwards and Halliburton, they're playing pretty well. But everyone else from the FIBA team has been pretty inconsistent and pretty rough to start the year. Paolo's been pretty inconsistent. I thought he was going to make a jump, at least offensively, scoring-wise, because he looked like he was taking that turn in Team USA, especially those last couple games. Cam Johnson, I know he's coming off an injury. Mikal Bridges has been pretty inconsistent to start the year.
Well, Mikal Bridges isn't good, so that's.
I literally knew you were about to say that as soon as I said Mikal Bridges. Who else was in that Team USA team? Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, I guess he's reaping the benefits of being the leading guy without
Cam Johnson.
Nah.
He's just been hurt though, right?
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna do a Schwinn. I'm gonna do a Schwinn thing here with Jaren Jackson Jr. No, fuck that guy, dude. He can't grab a rebound. Like
he's the most overrated player in the NBA.
He has to be. He has 4 times his player of the year over Mitchell Robinson on a 2-8 team that Mitchell Robinson has lapped him this season. And okay, maybe the betting sites are projecting forward and they're like, Ja's going to come back, they're going to level off. But I'm sorry, he has to do more if everybody talks about is the on-off numbers without Ja, and this team is so good, and Desmond Bane max player. This team sucks. Like this team was supposed to have gotten better in the offseason, and all I hear is excuses about why it doesn't matter that they're 2-8. And no, if they're a championship,
they got 2 DPOIs on their team. 2 recent DPOIs. It's not like 2 washed DPOIs. It's 2 recent DPOIs on their team with Desmond Bane, who's supposed to be,
So the thing is, Desmond Bane is a really awesome third guy, but
when you force him to be number 2, it's
he's not he's the number 1 right now, really, because Ja sucks. But or not Ja, JJJ. Ja sucks too, but whatever. JJJ, Jaren Jackson is just he's not a number 1 offensive player ever. He's barely a number 2 offensive player, given kind of I think his 3-point shooting has always been overrated. He's not particularly efficient, even
not consistent.
He's not really that efficient inside the arc. I think people get really enamored with
the idea of him.
When he's good, he's really good. And you kind of like, holy shit, this guy is he's a 4, but he can play the 5 too. And he's awesome on defense, but he spreads the floor. And it's like, you get this vision of him at his best, but he's just not always there. And honestly, he just can't play the 5 at all full time because he is just not.
That's why they had Steven Adams. That's why they got freaking Bismack Biyombo off the garbage heap.
Yeah, and let's be real, Steven Adams matters a lot to them, a ton to them.
Brandon Clark,
he juices their offense a ton. Yeah, Brandon Clark. These guys are the ones that are creating the extra possessions, and they're the ones that are doing. Not just forget, in Mitchell Robinson's case, right? He's great. He gives you value offensively. He's an insane offensive rebounder, sure. But the reason why he's a great defensive player on top of good instincts, good reads, is he ends possessions. If you can't, I don't give a shit how many fucking shots you're blocking. I don't care what your defensive field goal percentage allowed at the rim is.
How many of your statisticians that you're, they're juicing up your stats at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. All this stuff is great. If you can't end possessions, none of this matters. None of it matters. Jeff, I think you and Exia were talking about this with regard to Jokic on your pod maybe last week. Where you can tell me on an individual possession basis, Jokic isn't a good defender, but he ends possessions. That has a ton of value. That just has a ton of value. Jaren Jackson Jr., awesome defensive player. Guess what? He doesn't end possessions because he can't fucking rebound. I mean, his summer, say whatever you want about everybody else on that team. His fucking FIBA performance was some of the worst.
Abysmal.
Yeah,
he had the nerve to say the things that he said after each of those games about his rebounding. Dude, you're playing for our country and you can't close out possessions and we're losing close games. Insane.
The Brunson and Brunson backcourt. Tibbs' wet dream. It's just
all guard.
Jalen. He clones Jalen. Jalen, get out there.
He clarified. He meant quick. Yeah, I mean, it's really funny how old school
is cloning legal in the NBA, by the way. Can we clone basketball players? That is a question that we need to have answered.
Submit that on the Nets Reddit. They might
Sam, I feel like whenever I tell these stories, people probably think that I think you're some sort of sociopath. But I saw a tweet last night that reminded me of you so much. Did you see the Reddit post where the guy was like, yes. Can we kill 5 of the Nets players?
I saw that this morning on my way to work. I
was like, dude, Sam is gonna have a field day with this. Anytime somebody sucks, he's gonna post that Reddit picture and be like, "Are you sure we can't kill these?"
That was That was a wild post.
They're lucky that post wasn't around 2022. Julius Randle.
Look, man, this is this is a big Chino out here with the comment. Yeah, I think you might like if RJ and Grimes are out, it's either going to be Quick or DiVincenzo that starts. So you're going to see it one way or the other. You're going to see it. And I got to say, man, for as like old school a coach as Tibbs is and a lot of his principles, the fact that he just like loves guards is so funny to me. It's just so funny to me. Like even go back to his time in Chicago, he's just like, yeah, no, give me Nate Robinson, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. Like we'll figure it out. He'll run 7,000 pick and rolls, and we'll win. Like we'll beat the Nets in Game 7 at their place. But yeah, look, this is a fun game, man. There's a fun game, and it's such a satisfying game for them to win, just because of like how that fourth quarter unfolded, where you were like, end of the third quarter. By the way, that three that quickly took at the end of the third quarter, that was the most like if you take that shot, you have to make it. You have to make that shot because he took it with like 8 seconds left on the shot clock too. At the end of the quarter,
it was deep.
That was a logo three. He doesn't take those that much anymore. And he was just like, keep pulling the trigger. I was like, oh, all right. Like it better go in.
So you could tell he was gonna have a big fourth quarter.
And I did like Julius just ripping the ball away from Trey at the end of the third quarter. That was actually a really good defensive play. I don't know what Trey was trying to do at the end of the quarter. He was like getting in Julius's grill. I'm like, dude, Julius would fucking eat you. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you kidding me right now? You're like
Hartenstein came over and shoved the shit out of him. I love that.
Did you guys see what Trae Young said in the postgame? How he talked shit about Brunson?
What did he say?
Oh,
he
boy.
said, I missed a free throw, letting them stay up one. It's pretty easy to hit daggers when you have a lead. Like talking about how Brunson shot wasn't actually clutch because they were already up one.
Do you understand how that works? Yeah, like I don't really.
Nobody remembers the LeBron shot over Kawhi in the 2013 Finals in Game 7 because they were already up one. That actually wasn't clutch. It didn't matter. Like that, they had already won that game.
Yeah, I'm not sure Trae Young understands what the hell he's talking about. Also, Brunson hit shots in the fourth quarter when we were down.
He literally hit the go-ahead three. That was the game-winning shot. We didn't. That actually was the game-winning shot. He hit to go up 102-101. We never looked back from there. So
yeah,
he's just
he'll hit that, and then he hit another one. Right, I think we were down 107-105, and he hit a three to put us up 108-107, and then Hart hit that insane. Like it was the Hart play where you're like, what if you just shot the three though? But what if you just shot? And he's like. He put the ball on the deck, and I'm like, you're so, like, please just make whatever you're going to put up here. But he did. He made that nice little floater over Capella.
You remember that the one possession they used quickly as a screener, and Brunson found him on the short roll and quickly ended up turning it over?
Yeah.
It is quickly supposed to go up with the floater right when he catches it there, or what do you think he's supposed to do there?
I'm not sure because he caught it. He caught it underneath the hoop with his back to the basket. And, he's not a super explosive vertical guy, especially not from a standstill. So that's just a really tough spot for him. I thought Brunson took way too long. Like, quickly screened for him twice on that play because they were trying to get the switch onto Trae Young, right? They were trying to get Trae Young onto Brunson. And Brunson just did such a bad job of, like, he took way too long. It was just not a good job on him in that possession. But then he did at least get the ball to Quickly. Quickly couldn't go up. I think Quickly's either just got to pass it to Hart there instead of dribbling it out himself, or just dribble it out yourself and don't do the weird thing he was doing. I'm like, dude, just dribble straight out and just turn around and shoot it, basically. Like, I'd be fine with that. Trae Young is on you. Yeah. You don't need to overthink it here. I still think there's Quick still has bouts of overthinking some of this stuff.
Yeah, and I was literally about to say that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And I do feel like he also he's got to have the confidence to set himself up for step backs off the dribble. Like he's got to have the confidence, not even step backs, but just off the dribble pull up threes without a screen. When you get a good matchup, he's got to have the confidence to just be like, okay, I can create space for myself right now against this guy. And I don't need a screen. I don't need anything. I'm just gonna cook him right here. Like he's got to have the confidence to put it up. I don't know if that's something that like it's possible that Tibbs has told me he doesn't like that shot or something, but I just have a trouble seeing that given like he's empowered him to pull up on pick and roll pull-ups. Obviously, Brunson takes plenty of ISO pull-ups. Randle takes plenty. I have a hard time believing he would be like, no, quick, you're not allowed to do that at all. You know, he's not exactly Quentin Grimes. He can dribble.
Especially since they run that stupid out of bounds play that quickly never makes the shot ever, where quickly runs around the screen into the corner and shoots the sort of fadeaway three, and it never goes in ever. And I'm like, dude, you're tanking your field goal percentage. Why are you doing this?
The last time he made it was like last year.
I feel like you always used to hit them during that, like the 21, 22 year.
Well, this is the thing that's so weird though with that. It doesn't actually bother me he misses that shot. I don't mind that shot because I usually run it when there's like under 10 seconds left or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But like what actually bothers me about that play, and I think they called them for it once maybe. Quickly isn't even actually established back on the floor when he catches the ball from Hartenstein half the time in those plays. Like he's like tosses the ball into Hartenstein and is in the process of getting both feet down when Hartenstein passes him the ball. So I'm just waiting for that like official at some point to just whistle it for a turnover. I mean, I'm surprised Scott Foster didn't tonight because that guy was hell bent on making dumbass calls. Can we just talk? I can't believe we didn't talk about this. That rip through thing was insane. That is a rip through. That is the definition of a rip through. I think that's what Tibbs was challenging, right? I don't think he was challenging, is it a foul or not? He was challenging like, hey, this is a rip through. This is not a shooting motion. This is not a natural shooting motion. This should be 2 shots, not 3. He was absolutely right. I can't believe they reviewed that and upheld that.
Insane.
That was crazy to actually review it and come back and have the gall to be like he was in the upward shooting motion is a fucking joke. That is quite literally the definition of the rip through. That everything about that is a rip through move. That was a horrible call. Thank God it did not burn the Knicks tonight. Quickly, also, like, dude, don't put your hands on Trae Young there. Come on.
And just he's approaching Frank territory with his confidence in his defensive instincts. Like, I love it. I love the confidence, but he needs to stop fouling shooters because he doesn't have that reputation yet. Like, the things he's doing probably aren't being called on the other side, and that's probably where it comes from. But he needs to recognize that he's hurting the team by fouling 3-point shooters unnecessarily. He fouled Staps the other night. He had 2 tonight. I mean, he has to stop fouling 3-point shooters.
Yeah, 100%. He's like getting too close. I get it. You want to try and cut like the air off. Like you're trying to make that release really uncomfortable. That's fine. It's obviously good intention. And look, we also know that like he is actually very good at contesting shooters. It's just like you don't need to necessarily like be inch perfect there. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. I don't think Tibbs is going to be upset if you're like, you back up, 1 or 2 inches instead of trying to like get it so perfect, right? It's fine.
Yep.
So next game is against the Wizards of Washington, right?
It's Washington, and we get Charlotte, right? So these are games like
back to back.
This would be a really good game though to get RJ back for.
Let's play a game. How much do we beat the Wizards by?
Oh God, Sam, why are you doing this?
Really tempting fate over here. I think the Knicks win by.
Teams have been shellacking them.
I think the Knicks win by like 16.
16. All right.
Sam's disappointed in that answer. He wants 25.
I don't think Grimes will play. I'm a little worried about this Grimes thing.
Yeah, I can see Grimes not playing. I mean, if RJ misses Friday, it goes from like, oh, that was cute to like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like,
get a different brain, dude.
do you have a brain tumor or something? Yeah. Like, what is going
on? I think the Knicks win by 9.
Oh wow! So you think the Wizards cover, basically?
You think we're gonna be double-digit road favorites? No
against
way.
The fucking Wizards,
dude. They were the Maverick. Do you know what the Mavericks line was tonight?
It was like 4.5 or something, right?
In Washington, yeah. You think we're 6 points better than the Mavericks?
Yes, I think we're a lot.
No, maybe even if you're right, There's no way the books view us as 6 points better than the Mavericks.
Perfect. Then we should be hammering the Knicks.
Okay, yeah, let's make some money, Schwinn. I'm in.
I think we win by 6 because we're also going to play my other favorite game. Who goes off versus us?
We already know the answer. It's Kispert.
I see your
Kispert's
Kispert.
Too easy.
Yeah, I see your Kispert, and I raise you.
One Jordan Poole's. Raise you one Jordan Poole's breakout game.
Landry Shamet.
I could see it being Poole's breakout game, dude. That's a reason to start DiVincenzo or Quickly. If there's no Grimes, you need someone. Yeah, you need someone on Poole to start.
Whatever water he has left, at least.
I don't know about you guys, but whatever you think of Jordan Poole, I don't think Hart's quick enough to stay with him.
I think Hart might just like punch him in the face though.
He's gonna end up like fouling him a bunch. But yeah, I think Jordan Poole is primed for a breakout game versus, especially given this situation right now with RJ and his brain tumor apparently, and Grimes and his dislocated wrist / fingers, whatever it is at this point. Like,
I just have to say, I think I've never been a Jordan Poole guy. He's easily the funniest player in the league. I cannot wait to watch this game Friday. I know Sam saw it, but Schwinn, did you see the montage that was on Twitter like a day ago? Legitimately the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like I was dying laughing. That was hilarious.
I'd be so pissed if that guy was on my team.
Yeah.
I would fucking hate him.
Draymond was so pissed he punched him in the face.
I understand why. Like, that guy is a fucking clown, dude. You're in a timeout, just like, who are you?
Dude,
like,
and then somebody made a TikTok going through his favorite Jordan Poole plays that was going on Twitter today. It was so funny. The guy was like narrating it, and he showed like the one play where he dribbled beyond the 3-point arc against the Celtics with his back to the basket, and then turned around and launched, and KP just swatted.
By the way, Thibodeau, this is from Steve Popper. Thibodeau says, bruised left hand for Grimes, said he didn't know if he'd gotten x-rays. That feels like it's probably not that bad.
I said, let's go Friday. Come on, man.
Yeah. Oh, Gallo's a good one. JL said Gallo might hit like 6 threes. Yeah, that's a good one.
Wow. Gallo. Damn. I didn't even think of that.
This road trip is so insane. So now we're at Washington. We get that stupid ass 6:00 Saturday game. In Charlotte. Yeah,
Miles Bridges gets to get his feet wet versus us.
Yeah, we're gonna need to tweet out like the Vince McMahon thing. Come out here, you rapist!
You rapist! Dude, the 30 for 30 on Vince McMahon is gonna be wild. Like, there's that one where he says the N-word. Like, what was that day? What was that day like? Like in the writer's room, where Vince is like, "Hey guys, I got an idea."
Yeah.
Like I'm just throwing it out here. What if,
I don't think people actually understand the Attitude Era. The shit that Vince was like putting out there was insane. Like, he had a fucking story arc where Stephanie McMahon was fucking Val Venus. Like, like that was like a thing. Then there was the one where like Linda McMahon is in a coma and he's just like making out with Trish Stratus in front of her.
There's the one where like the Triple H Kane one where it would the one like Triple H like bangs Kane's dead mom's corpse or something as it, like, but he's a heel, so it's okay. Like, it's funny, like, what the fuck, man? There's just so much shit.
It's the shit that you're like, I'm so happy that like this happened when it did, because if this happened now and I participated in watching it, people would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Attitude Era Vince was like, I don't even know what's going on there. And it's like crazy that you just know that like in these meetings, people are like, wait, you want to say what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you want to do what? Like, what are you talking about?
Did you ever watch Silicon Valley?
I watched a little bit of it. I never finished it.
Okay. Never mind then.
This is from JL. That Triple H Booker T
Oh
promo
yeah,
was
dude.
absurdly-
Okay, so sorry, mini wrestling rant here. So Triple H basically gives the most racist rant in the history of the world. Like his whole promo was as racist as it gets, setting up for WrestleMania, and then Triple H goes over at WrestleMania. The storyline arc was racism wins. And then my other favorite, my all-time favorite Vince McMahon is. So Shawn Michaels became really religious in like 2005, like super religious. So at one of the pay-per-views, Vince and Shane fought Shawn Michaels and God. It was a tag team match, and Vince won the match. He pinned God. Like, dude, what
Dude, I this like again, you're just all of that entire Attitude Era shit is so crazy. Like, and it's like it got crazier. It just like you're like, oh no, this isn't like Mankind like got thrown off of like a fucking Hell in a Cell and like that. Like, hey, that's crazy. But like, it can't get crazier than that, right? What if we had The Rock hit him in the head 18 times with a steel chair? What if we did
Dude,
that?
That's hard to watch. That's dude.
That one's crazy. That one's nuts.
Nails him in the head with that chair, like
No.
over repeatedly, and his hands are cuffed together. He can't even
it's crazy.
guard his head. It's just straight shots to the head.
And then the one that's absolutely bonkers is the Ken Shamrock, or not Ken Shamrock. Fuck, why can't I remember who it is? It's Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle. That match is so fucking crazy. I think neither of them actually remembers the end of it because they were like, because the wall wouldn't break through when he's trying to like kind of like suplex him through it. So he did it like 3 times, and it's like finally, it's like, dude, what if like maybe just fucking adapt a little bit here? Like just relax, like it'll be fine. You already fucked him up enough. Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
Wrestling, what a time!
Yeah,
All right,
what a great show this is. You can have so many. What kind of? Who else has tangents like these?
Oh, all right. So did you guys pick who you think's gonna go off? We all did, right?
I like the
Kispert.
Gallinari one. I think we're gonna go with Gallinari.
Gallinari. I got Poole.
Shout out JL.
And Jeff's got Kispert.
Hell yeah.
All right, and that's an in-season tournament game, right? That's supposed to have some type of extended meaning or whatever it is at this point.
Sure
Is this our second in-season tournament game?
Yep. First
Can
one
they-
versus the Bucks.
Can they just stop? Can they get like a real name for it? Like really?
Well, I heard Netflix wants to get the rights to it, so it's probably going to be called the Netflix Cup soon.
I'd be down for that. That would make it an event, though. That's good. That's like what they need to do.
Yeah, have a sponsor.
And
make
Netflix
it
will
some
probably
type of-
not be annoying about streaming it. It won't be like, this is blacked out in your local area. Like, fuck you.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I won't have to go to restaurants to watch games against the fucking Hornets.
Oh my
Again,
God.
I don't have to. But
That's insane that like areas are blacked out like because of League Pass. That's so stupid.
so frustrating.
The league needs to do better.
Is this is our second one though, right? Yeah. So we
Yes.
only played the
Yep,
last part.
second one.
And
You think-
who else is in our group? It's the Bucks, the Wizards,
Heat,
Miami.
the Heat. Wow, fun.
and I can tell you right now, it is.
It's so
I can't
annoying that
tell
the
you.
Heat are in our group. Oh my God. And the Heat, they're on this winning streak now after like all their random players started playing well. Like Jaime Jaquez is playing well.
God, he's so annoying.
It's
Like, I
the
hate
Bucks,
that.
the Heat, the Knicks, the Hornets, and the Wizards.
Oh, the Hornets and the Wizards. That's not too bad of a group.
It's not.
But so our first game against the Hornets that's fucking annoying. Why wasn't our first game against the Hornets a fucking in-season tournament game?
Yeah, it's so annoying that none of our Hornets games right now are for the tournament because like these are good for like point differential too because that matters in this.
Oh, I
shit.
forgot that's part of it.
I think we get them at home though, because the Bucks and the Wizards both are on the road. So I think the Heat and the Hornets games are at home because it's only 4 games.
Ooh, nice. Those nice bright orange courts. Can't wait to see them.
The Lakers are just like a bad basketball team right now.
Yeah, they're pretty shit, and it's great to see Austin Reeves and Anthony Davis struggling right now. Cam Reddish has
they're
more points than both of them.
they're just kind of
That
at the
shows
mercy
you how they're
of
ridiculous.
Anthony Davis, in my opinion. Like if Anthony Davis is great, they'll be fine. If Anthony Davis has 7 points on 2 of 7 shooting, they're pretty fucked. Like
how do you play bad? How do you play worse than Cam Reddish tonight? Like,
yeah, I mean, a number of players did, but yeah, I mean, you can't just like they can't just be still like, oh, please save us, LeBron. He's too old for this. He can't do it anymore. Like he can play pretty well, but
can't save him from this.
21 points on 6 of 11 shooting, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, 4 steals, and a block, and they're just getting crushed. Get the guy a little help, Anthony. You're supposed to be the star. You're supposed to take the keys, buddy.
Yep.
And I'm definitely not speaking emotionally because he's on my fantasy team and just fucking me over right now. Definitely nothing to do with that. Definitely nothing to do with that.
Oh, Lakers are trying to make a run. Well,
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Shout out to everyone that's been rocking with us. 2 hours strong, talking about endless amount of things after this wonderful Knicks win, going 6-5. Join us Friday after the Knicks in-season tournament game versus the Wizards. We will be right here, right back at you. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. We're on our way to 1K subs, and we are in the midst of figuring out this super chat thing. Does anyone know what happened to Adrian Griffin? I just remember he's on the Hawks. He might be injured, probably.
He's just out of the rotation.
Yeah, and this is not that surprising if you were watching them last year. Like Quinn Snyder cut his minutes almost instantly when he got there. So I'm guessing it's something to do with his defense. He'd probably just
Quinn Snyder's not a big Jesus fan.
Also, maybe part of it. Quinn Snyder loves cocaine. Is what he loves.
That is true. Oh man, but yeah, make sure you guys join us on Friday for more interesting conversations like this. After the Wizards game, we'll see who decides to go off versus us or not. See if we can beat the Wizards by 40 or not. So yeah, make sure you guys check out the links in the description. We got links to the site, merch, Patreon, where you can see Schwinn's show, Strick and Roll, as well as Jeff's and Khan's Strictly NFL. Those are among the many perks that you receive under the Patreon tiers. And we also got links to the Twitter in our description, so make sure you guys are following us on Twitter. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your week.